Money Radio, discussing the business of making and spending money. Money Radio, discussing the business of making and spending money.
Hello, everyone. You're welcome to today's edition of Money Show, a program that brings you the latest development and business and economy cycles of Nigeria and issues of businesses around the world. My name is Innocent Odo, and today we shall look at the agribusiness sector. And our focus will be the skyrocketing prices of food items in Nigeria and the unending threat of food security caused largely by the threatening insecurity problems and, of course, the negative impact of the COVID-19. I have a guest in the studio, and with which I'm going to do justice to this very important topic. He's an expert in agribusiness, and he's here with us. Mr. Paul, welcome to the program. Paul Wadime, welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
So before we go into the program proper, let's take some news items. In the news, President Muhammadu Buhari, in his Salah message, has said, rather warned that taking advantage of the Eid celebration to exploit fellow citizens through outrageous prices of food items is inconsistent with the virtues of Islam. President Buhari gave the warning in his Eid greetings on the occasion of Eid al-Adha, on the occasion of Eid al-Adha that is being celebrated across the world today. The president, in his message marking the auspicious Muslim occasion, restated the determination of his administration to create a just, harmonious, and prosperous country in which the safety of life and property is assured. He said that apart from the destruction caused to rice farms by flood, middlemen have also taken advantage of the local rice production to exploit fellow Nigerians, thereby undermining his goal of supporting local food production at affordable prices. Also reflecting on current challenges facing the country, the president stated that COVID-19 pandemic has taken a heavy toll on the economies of all countries, including Nigeria, in addition to the fact that floods have caused a large-scale destruction to agricultural farmlands, thereby impacting negatively on his effort to boost local production in line with his policy to drastically reduce food importation. And the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, says it has commenced an intensive training program for 708 engineers in the company, taken from the Electrical Maintenance Department, Protection, Control and Monitoring Department, as well as linesmen across the 10 regions of the company through a World Bank program. A statement by the General Manager, Public Affairs of the organization, Ms. Ndidi Mba, said while declaring the training open in Abuja, Acting Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer TCM, Ms. Sule Abdulaziz, explained that the training was to expose maintenance engineers to facility improvement programs under the World Bank's Nigeria Electrical Transition Project, NETAP. The TCN head noted that the company was prioritizing the training of its staff as it gradually expands the capacity of its transmission network with the execution of several projects to ensure grid efficiency and stability. Also in the news, the Chartered Institute of Professional Printers of Nigeria has lamented that foreign printers have monopolized the market, making it impossible for Nigerians to freely import paper into the country. The president and chairman in council of the institute, Mr. Olubemi Malomo, said the ease of doing business in the country had allowed foreigners to come unhindered to retail level, thereby denying the industry opportunity to build capacity. Malomo expressed concern that the large number of expressed concern that a large number of printing jobs, including ballot papers, were done abroad to the detriment of the indigenous professional printers. Malomo expressed concern that a large number of printing jobs, including I'm taking that already. And the Central Bank of Nigeria has partnered with some cybersecurity stakeholders to launch a new cyber awareness campaign tagged No Go for MAGA. This was disclosed by the Apex Bank to its Director of Banking Supervision, Mr. Haruna Mustafa, on Monday. According to him, cybersecurity awareness was a key element in mitigating cyber risk, and the bank was ready to partner with industry stakeholders to sustain efforts at educating staff and customers on fraud information and cybersecurity hygiene practices. He said it will also be beneficial to the industry if banks extend their cybersecurity awareness program to their customers using various media in Nigeria, in Nigerian languages such as Yoruba, Igbo, Hausa, and others for an improved ecosystem. Another area of focus is driving the integrating awareness program into the Nigerian education system. That's it for the news. We'll return to the main issue of discussion today, which is the skyrocketing, food prices in Nigerian market, largely blamed on insecurity and as well as the COVID-19 pandemic. We also have President Muhammadu Buhari lamenting this development in his Salah message to Nigerians and blaming it also on middlemen and the incessant insecurity in the country. Mr. Paul, welcome once again to the program. And yes, we heard the president lamenting about increasing food prices in the market and also blaming it on middlemen. What is your take on it?
First of all, thank you for having me once again. I think I was shocked by the president's statement. Why was I shocked? He was talking as if he is a member of the opposition party. Ordinarily, what we expect the president to talk about is what he's doing to make sure that the price of food is down, not lamenting. He has passed the level of lamentation. He is the one in power. He is the president of the country. So lamentation is not what is expected of him. That said, it is a fact that anybody who visits the market these days will know that the food prices has skyrocketed to the roof, above the roof, if you might take it like that. One of the reasons for this is insecurity in the country. And then I don't accept the idea that it's the middlemen that are basically the problem, the way the president wanted to portray it. I think the problem is deep-rooted. We have to tackle the insecurity. If you look at the food basket of the country, states like Benue, Plateau, Taraba, Nasarawa, and all that, you find out that most farmers are not going to farm because of banditry and all manners of farmers' headers crisis. So that's basically the issue that the president should address. Because if you blame the middlemen, I remember about a week ago or thereabout, the chairman of Rice Millers Association of Nigeria, Plateau State chapter, Mr. Adama, he was saying that the millers, most of the millers they have nothing to do because the rice paddy are not there for them. They say they don't have enough rice to even mill. So, which means if they don't have enough rice to mill, it means the middlemen are coming to get a smaller quantity of rice to a country with a population of 200 million and counting. So how are we going to feed them? And you know, rice is a staple, just like every other commodity in the country. So basically, I don't agree with the president that is the fault of middlemen. I think the president should look inward and find a solution to this.
Yes, of course, indeed. As the president and his team are looking forward to addressing the food crisis. He also had promised Nigerians that he would do everything within his own powers to ensure that Nigerians will begin to feel better in terms of this crisis they are facing. Now, you said that you don't agree with him, that the middlemen are largely the problem.
Yeah.
Of course, the question of insecurity has already been there.
Yeah.
And then, but the middlemen, of course, surely have something to do with this skyrocketing prices in the market, because we understand that they actually approach the producers, where they get these items from the producers, and then, of course, they go to the market to go and increase the prices, where it's now becoming beyond the reach of the ordinary person. And I'm thinking that, just like you said, the president or his government would come into the system with a very strong measure against this type of exploitation being meted out to Nigerians, especially at this time that it is becoming really, really difficult for Nigerians to cope with the situation. But on their own, the middlemen on their own have not been able to demonstrate any kind of patriotism to help Nigerians also to ameliorate the situation that they are having on hand now. So, but Mr. Paul, there's one other thing that
I want to come back to that issue, because you see, Nigeria practices free. It's a capitalist country. Let us be frank about this.
Yes.
Prices of commodities are being fixed based on demand and supply. I can assure you that if there are plenty of rice available by farmers, it will crash the price of rice. Let us be frank about it. It's because the demand and supply cannot balance. The truth of the matter is that you don't have enough rice produced in the country. Let's all be frank about this. We don't have enough rice being produced in the country. For a country of 200 million people, we don't have enough. So in an economy that is controlled by demand and supply factors, so you know that if you want the price to come down, you must make sure that the supply sector has enough rice in the market. What do? Make sure you reduce the violence, the crisis, banditry, herdsmen crisis. Stop it. If you stop it and farmers go to farm and farm rice, I can assure you the rice will crash. But you cannot say that a middleman should, after taking all the risk, most of the roads have been taken over by bandits and herdsmen and all manner of people who are ready to kill anybody. And then he risk and go to the bushes and get this thing, or wherever he gets it, and you think he will come and sell it at a price that will not be to his own interest. Don't forget about the fact that most of these farmers, they borrowed money from the bank. Even some of them that are part of the Anchor Borrowers program, they have to pay back the money. We have to be frank about it. We have to look at this thing subjectively. Look at it. Anchor borrowers, they're expected to return the money after some time. Those who borrowed from the commercial bank, they are supposed to return the money. So the truth of the matter is that we don't eat bread because of the benevolence of the baker. So you don't eat rice because the person that sells rice likes you. He gives you the way he buys it. So what we have to do, what the government is expected to do, is to make sure that the price of rice is down. And how can the government do it? Tackle insecurity, stop romancing banditry and all these things. Face these guys, eliminate them, and make the bushes available for us to, available to farmers to go to farm. Then you see the prices of commodities will come down. We know in this country during the rainy season, prices of food normally come down because supply is more than demand. This is basically it's a simple matter of economics, and all of us, even those who did the elementary economics, understood this.
Okay, Mr. Paul, there's one other problem that we're facing. Because the World Food Program and the Food Agricultural Organization have actually predicted that in 2021, by August 2021, about 13 million Nigerians would, face acute food insecurity. 13 million Nigerians are predicted by these international organizations to face acute food insecurity, and that is an increase from 8.7 million recorded last year. So you can see that the situation is actually getting worse.
Yeah.
So, and amid increasing level of insecurity in the country, so there's trouble coming in. So what do we do?
what can we do as a people and as a nation and as a government to avert this looming danger?
Well, first of all, we have to address the issue of insecurity, as I said earlier on, because the insecurity is a major factor. Then we also have to address the issue of climate change. We must make sure that we train our farmers to be adaptive to the climate change techniques of farming.
Yes.
So that they could be able to produce enough food for the country. Are you getting it?
Yes.
So, which means there is a need for collaboration between the government, the Farmers Association, and even research institutions and various higher institutions around the country to make sure that there is a kind of coordination to make sure that farmers adapt to technology, adapt to new ways of farming because of climate change, so that and also improve input. Like if you look at seedlings, I'm happy a lot of states these days are buying high yielding seedlings,
Yes.
which they are making available to farmers. That should be encouraged because that will increase the productivity of farmers and create more food available for Nigerians. And it will also, as more food is available for Nigerians, the price we are talking about, we are lamenting because it's going higher, will eventually come down. I think that's what we have to do. And that's the only way, because since the government has already shut the door of importation of food from outside, so we just have to look inwards.
We just have to look inwards to see how we are going to develop our mechanisms to address the increasing food crisis in the country. On that note, we're going to take a short break, and when we return, we'll continue with the discussion.
Money Radio, discussing the business of making and spending money.
Welcome back. We're still talking about the increasing food prices in the Nigerian market and the impact it's making on the people, especially at this time of difficulties. I'm still in the studio with Paul Owadema, doing justice to the program. Paul, there's another disturbing issue of this crisis facing us. The predictability of these international organizations. I mentioned about the International Food and Agriculture Organization and the World Food Program as well. And they have actually warned the Nigerian government about these incessant increases. Like I said, 8.7 million people were, faced a real crisis in 2020. You may attribute that to the impact of the COVID-19, of course, which we are still suffering now. Then, of course, you can see that the insecurity has added to the problem already. Now, there's a threat of famine in 15 states, especially of the Northeast and Northwest, where banditry and terrorism have hampered productivity in agriculture. Now, you said the government must do something about it urgently before it gets out of hand. Yes. Now, the situation is already getting out of hand, and the government appears to be handicapped again in facing the crisis. Now, yesterday, it was in the news that an aircraft was shot down allegedly by bandits. Now, if the bandits have now developed the capacity to shoot down aircraft, then it is actually a disturbing scenario. So what do we do really? Is it that we have no capacity to handle this insecurity, or there's complicity in this insecurity problem, or that the agencies are actually being infiltrated such that we do not know who is actually helping us in this fight? Because I understand we have international collaboration in the fight against security, but the problems keep growing. What do we do in this situation?
Thank you very much. How you know that the situation is dire is if you look at in the Northeast, we are having about 2.3 million IDPs. Now, these 2.3 million IDPs, these are potential farmers because many of them are from rural areas. They ran away from their homes because of Boko Haram and ISWAP terrorism. These are potential farmers. These are farmers.
Yes.
So when you have 2.3 million people who were farmers before, they are no longer productive. Many of them are suffering in the IDP camp. Good. Then you add them to the number of IDPs you have in other states, in Benue, in Plateau, in Southern Kaduna. Are you getting? And these are the bread basket of the nation.
The bread basket of the nation. Yes.
Are you getting it? So you now know why they were predicting what the international agencies are predicting what they're doing, because common sense will show you that there's a problem. There's going to be food scarcity when all these people who are very productive people can no longer. And don't forget, most of the rice we eat, indigenous rice we eat from Nigeria, come from this belt. So which means we don't have enough food in the country as long as this large number of people are disrupted from their home. Now, what do we do about it? As I said earlier on, the security have to be improved upon. It is very key. Until this security matter is addressed squarely, without romancing the bandits or the herdsmen, they are fought frontally. I can assure you, I will agree with the agencies that something looked there. And if you look at the prediction by a meteorological agency, you find out that the rainfall is not going to be as it was last year.
Yes.
So which means even the weather is not going to help the farmers. So which means Nigeria have to do a lot more than what we are doing presently, lamenting. What we need to do is to take action. What do? The president must make sure that this insecurity is nipped on the bud. It should be stopped. Whatever needs to be done, even if we have to get a foreign help to make sure that the insecurity in this country is addressed. I don't think there's any other thing they can do, because even if you want to train farmers on how to adapt to climate change, farming, you will train them on green agriculture and all manner of training. They must have access to the farm.
Yes.
When they cannot go to the farm, what's the essence of the training? So security is key. That is why it is the number one priority of any government. If a government cannot provide security, whatever is providing is meaningless, because it's only somebody who is secure that can use those facilities.
Yes.
That's my take.
Okay, there's another thing that I'm looking at, this security crisis. Do you see anything like complexity in this whole question about insecurity in the country? Why it has not been able to, the government has not been able to tame the terrorists and the bandits? Some people say it's because of complicity on the part of people, probably even agents of governments, involved in the crisis in banditry and terrorism, and that's why the thing is not going away as easily as we thought. Do you see that?
One thing I have to say is this. You know that this country has a corruption challenge. We have corruption challenge. So this corruption challenge means there is corruption in virtually in every sector. Those in the military, they didn't come from the moon. They are Nigerians like every one of us. So there are bad eggs there. I can't rule out the fact that there are bad eggs there who can compromise the security of the country for corruption gains. And also, there are also, this is a country that is, we have a lot of deep fault lines. We may be fighting bandits and all. We can't say what are in the minds of some military officials there. Some of them may be sympathetic to the bandits. You can't rule it out. There's always human nature. You can't understand it sometimes. So some may be sympathetic to them. But that said, I think that The important thing is for the government to show determination to handle the insecurity. I don't want to see it as if the government cannot do it. This government that could go to Kenya and bring back IPOB leader,
yes,
to go to Cotonou and make sure that Iboho is arrested. If they put such determination that they have put in all these separatist campaigners, I think if they put it on bandits, put it on headers who are terrorizing communities around the country, I think they will be able to fight this thing. So the truth is that the government must show political will to tackle the bandits.
In the meantime, what do we do about the food scarcity? Some people have suggested that we should import more to feed people, since some farmers have been dislodged, or farmers could easily be relocated to a safer climate or safer places where they could also be given incentive to continue with their farming. I don't know, how do you see that? You have a couple of few minutes to say that, because we're almost out of time.
Okay. One of the good things about one of the achievements of President Muhammad Buhari's administration is in the agricultural sector. We must give it to the president. He was determined to stop Nigerians from importing food. He wanted Nigerians to eat
what we produce.
Yes. It's a very good policy. Of all the president we have had, I think Buhari have shown more determination to make sure that we eat what we produce. And it's kudos to him and the Central Bank of Nigeria, what they have done with Anchor Borrowers Program. But the only disappointing aspect of the whole thing is what the insecurity has done to the program. Basically, I wouldn't want us to go back to the era of importing food and all that. To draw us back, to be frank. We must find a way of making our farms free for farmers to farm. I don't subscribe to the idea of food importation to bring down the cost of foodstuffs in the country. I don't buy that idea. I believe that we should.
I believe that we should fight insecurity and then produce what we consume. We have been talking about the skyrocketing prices of food items in the Nigerian market, and of course the lamentation of President Muhammadu Buhari over the matter. It's so obvious that mere lamentation cannot help Nigerians if we don't tackle the insecurity problems that is facing Nigeria, and of course do more investment in agricultural sector and encourage farmers to go back to the land and then farm and produce food that we all can eat, so that we'll be more healthy and stable again. So it's on that note that we call it a day on this particular program. We thank you for joining us, Mr. Paul. It's been wonderful having you here.
Thank you.
And everyone, we thank you for giving us your time. And we promise that we're going to come back next time with a very bigger edition. Thank you so much. And God bless you.